Hello everyone, welcome to IP Study video lectures. Today we will discuss grade 8 science chapter Nature of Matter, Elements, Compounds and Mixtures. In this chapter we will cover the topics understanding mixtures, pure substances, what are the types of pure substances, minerals and applications of minerals. So in the previous chapter we understood the three states of matter, how these are arranged, what is defining their volumes and the shapes in different state, and how these are changing from one state to other state. We can regulate that by changing the temperature. In this chapter, we will further discuss about the matter as mixture which can be made up of elements or mixture of elements and compounds or the compounds. Understanding mixtures. Let's take an example. Consider a bowl of mixed nuts containing almonds, cashew nuts, walnuts, etc. Each type of nut has a distinct texture, taste and nutritional property. So, when you are mixing these nuts in a mixture, you are preparing a bowl having the mixture of these nuts, the physical properties or chemical properties are not changing during the mixing process. Similarly, when we prepare a fruit salad, each fruit retains its flavor and characteristics while preparing the mixture. They are not changing their nutritional values. So, how do we define a mixture in these cases? A mixture is a combination of two or more substances in which each substance retains its individual properties without going under any chemical change. These substances in a mixture are called the component of the mixture. These components do not go under any chemical change during this mixing process, and they can often be separated by a physical process. For example, when we are mixing different types of nuts, we can handpick them. If we are mixing pulses with sand, suppose accidentally you mix the pulses with sand. So how can you separate that? You can sieve it so that the sand particle pass through the sieve and the pulses are left behind. So that's how what we are doing. We are using a physical method of separation to separate components of a mixture. And during this process, when we are mixing the components of a mixture, no chemical change is happening, no chemical reaction is taking place. That's why no new chemical substance is formed. The components are retaining their original properties. So the mixture can be having components in the solid states only, or solids plus liquid state, or liquid into liquid state, or we can have gases in the liquids and gases in the gases. So majorly the mixtures are classified into two categories. What are these? Non-uniform mixture means heterogeneous mixture, and uniform mixtures means homogeneous mixture. So what are non-uniform mixture? The example of a bowl filled with different types of nuts is the non-uniform mixture. Why? Because we can see all the components separately and we can classify, we can identify each component in the mixture easily. In any mixture, if the components are uniformly spread and they cannot be identified separately, that kind of mixture is called the uniform mixture. For example, when we are dissolving sugar or salt in the water, we cannot identify where the solid particle of sugar or solid particle of salt is present in the complete column of water. So, in homogeneous mixtures, all the components are combined uniformly, they blend perfectly with each other, but in heterogeneous mixture, they do not blend perfectly. They remain unevenly spread. Examples of heterogeneous mixtures are sand and water. How many times you try to stir the mixture of sand and water, sand settles at the bottom after some time. It is not uniformly mixed in the water. So, this is a heterogeneous mixture. Oil and water, same with the mixture of oil and water. Whenever you are dissolving it, it seems that oil particles are spread in the complete column, complete length of the water column. But as soon as you stop stirring, within a few seconds or minute, the water makes a separate layer on the surface of water. The mixed salad, you can identify each component of the salad. A bowl of mixed nut, you can find out every nut separately. So, these are all different types of heterogeneous mixture. Some examples of homogeneous mixture are sugar dissolved in water, salt dissolved in water, air in the surrounding. We know that air is a mixture of gases where different gases are present in different proportion, but we cannot make out that where the oxygen is present in the surrounding, where the carbon dioxide is there or nitrogen is there. These are evenly distributed in the surrounding and making a homogeneous mixture. To investigate that carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere or in the surroundings, you can take a small sample or small amount of lime water solution. Now take a petri dish and pour a filtered solution of lime water in the petri dish. Leave it in the atmosphere in any open area for an hour. So you will find that the clear solution of lime water turns milky after leaving in the surroundings. How? We know that lime water reacts with the carbon dioxide. So if we are not adding up carbon dioxide in the petri dish, how this solution is turning milky? From the atmosphere, carbon dioxide is now reacting with the lime water in the petri dish, and this is going under a chemical change. As a result, it is turning milky because the calcium hydroxide in the solution is now changing into calcium carbonate. Next is, there are some mixtures where metals are combined together and sometimes some non-metals are also added. The weaker metals, or we can say the metals which can corrode easily, are mixed with the other strong metals which cannot corrode easily in the atmosphere, and these mixtures are called the alloys. For example, stainless steel, brass, bronze and sterling silver. These are some example of alloys which are the mixtures of different metals and sometimes some metals with the non-metals. Next is pure substance. So materials are grouped as pure and impure. How we are finding out? Pure substance is the substance which have only one type of component in the substance. For example, pure water. So when we are taking the water, water has only one type of molecule in the complete column. What are these molecules? These are H2O molecules. As soon as you mix any other substance in it, suppose you are mixing the salt, which is NaCl, so the water becomes impure. If we are having pure air, it should have all the gases in the defined proportion in the surrounding. If any other undesirable particle is added in the air, so what is happening? The air is becoming impure. So what we can conclude here, that in any substance, either one type of unit molecules are present there, or if it is a mixture, all the components are present there in the fixed proportion. If in water, if we write it H2O2, so this will not be called water, or if it is reacting with any other substance like NaCl or any other substance like HCl, it is dissolved in this. So it will not be called the pure substance because we have added some other substance in it. It is not having the uniform property in it. So what are the characteristic property of any pure substance? It has uniform composition. Every time you write the water, it will have two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. Every time you write oxygen, it will have two atoms of oxygen here. Every time you write glucose, it will have 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen and 6 atoms of oxygen in one molecule. This proportion will not be changed. So we can say these are pure substances. They have fixed melting and boiling point. If you take the pure water and you try to freeze it, we know that the freezing point of the water is 0 degree Celsius. It will freeze at that temperature. But if you add sugar or salt or any other substance in that, so the freezing point will be now changed. It will take more time to freeze or it will take less time to freeze depending on the type of component mixed into the water. Similarly, the ice melts at same temperature. If you are adding some substances into the water because it has become impure now, the melting point of the water also will be changed. They have consistent density. Means in a unit volume, the water molecule will be available or scattered in the same manner, same proportion. So the arrangement of the water molecule will not be changing if the water is pure. Definite chemical properties. Water will show same chemical reaction if we are using the pure water. If we are using impure water, it will hinder the result of different chemical reactions or the experiments. Means you will not have the same chemical reactions and you will not have the same results of the reactions. So that's why we choose always distilled water, the pure form of the water for chemical experiments, so that we get the same experiment and we get the same results every time. What are the types of pure substances? Pure substances can be found in element form or in compound form. Elements where same types of atoms are present, like ozone have 3 atoms of oxygen. Chlorine has 2 atoms of chlorine. So in any element, same unit, same atoms are repeated to form a molecule which can exist freely in the atmosphere. So what do we say here? That the oxygen cannot exist with single atom in the atmosphere. Chlorine cannot be found as single atom in the atmosphere. Similarly, the nitrogen cannot be found as single atom, it will be found as diatomic molecule. The molecule has 2 atoms. So elements are pure substances that cannot be broken down into further simpler substances by any ordinary chemical means. You cannot use any chemical reaction or chemical change to break it into further smaller units. The units of any element or molecule are atoms, which are bound together using strong attraction forces and forms a molecule. Some examples of elements are hydrogen, oxygen, ozone, nitrogen, chlorine, etc. We know that water has 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Here it is making one molecule. Also we can say it is a compound because 2 types of atoms are combining together. And these are present in a fixed proportion. Every time in a 1 molecule of water, there will be 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atoms. Now, we can produce 2 elements from 1 molecule of water. What are these 2 elements? One is hydrogen and second one is oxygen. How can we do that? For this, we need to take pure water, distilled water in a beaker. Take 2 test tubes which are filled with acidified water. Acidified water means we can add few drops of acid in the distilled water and fill these test tubes with the acidified water. Now take a small battery of 9 volt, place it at the bottom of the water holding container and carefully invert these test tubes over the two terminals of the battery. That's how you are completing a small simple circuit. When the circuit is completed, the current will flow in the circuit. This will dissociate the molecule of water into its components, into its constituent particles. What are these? Hydrogen and oxygen. So, in one test tube, you will be able to collect hydrogen gas, and in the other one, you will be able to collect oxygen gas. How do we find out whether these are hydrogen or oxygen gas? Perform flame test. If you bring a burning candle over the surface of test tube which is having hydrogen gas, there will be pop sound and the flame will be extinguished. But in the other test tube, you will be noticing that when you are taking the burning candle, it starts burning with the bigger flame. And we know, we already have learned this in the previous grades and previous chapters, that oxygen supports burning. So, when the flame is going bigger, it is indicating that the test tube is holding oxygen gas. The pop sound of the flame is an identification test of the presence of hydrogen gas here. Classification of elements. Elements can be classified as metals, non-metals in major categories. But there are some elements which shares the properties of metals and non-metals. They show some properties of metals and some other properties of non-metals. These are called metalloids. So, what are the common properties of metals? They are lustrous, they produce sound, they conduct electricity, they conduct heat better, and they can be drawn into sheets and wires. These are some common properties of metals. But on the other hand, non-metals do not show such properties. But what happens to the metalloids? Some metalloids can be spread into sheets like silicon, but they do not show other properties of the metals. Like they are not hard like the metals. They are not producing sonorous sound like the metals. Also, they are semiconductors of electricity. Semiconductor means they do not conduct the electricity that efficiently like a metal, but they conduct some amount of electricity through them. The physical state of elements at room temperature. Most of the metals are solid, most of the non-metals are gases, some are here liquid. So, we can say elements are found in different states, some are solid, some liquid, some are gaseous state. Liquid elements are mercury and bromine. One is the metal and the other one is non-metal. In the gaseous state, the elements are hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, oxygen, neon, chlorine, etc. What are compounds? Compounds are made up of more than one type of atom which are arranged in a fixed proportion. In the compound, the constituent particles do not show their individual properties. For example, water shows different properties than its constituent particle hydrogen and oxygen. In glucose molecule, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are present in the fixed proportion and they show completely different property as a compound. But separately, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen all have different properties. So, what are the characteristics of any compound? One is that compound has fixed proportion of its constituent particles. Second, it doesn't show the properties of its constituent particles. It shows completely different properties than its particles. Also, they are bound there using chemical bonding. There are strong attraction forces between the constituent particles of any compound which hold them in that fixed proportion or in the fixed structure. That's why each compound shows a unique, different structure. The constituent particles of a compound cannot be separated by means of any physical method. there are chemical methods required to separate or obtain each constituent particle from the compound. How can we test this? We can check this using one experiment. Take small amount of sugar crystal, pour it into the boiling tube and hold the boiling tube over a flame. After some time, there will be some bubbles in the boiling tube. Crystals of the sugar will start melting and you will see some tiny droplets on the rim of the boiling tube, and burnt carbon will be left there at the bottom of the boiling tube. So, if you check the appearance of the sugar particle with the burnt residue, is it same? No. And which means that during this boiling process, it has dissociated into its constituent particles and the sugar crystals are now completely changed into this charcoal powder. Another example we can take here is the mixture of iron filling and sulfur powder. How can we check the properties here? The characteristic properties of a compound. Initially, iron filling and sulfur powder are two different elements here. Okay, when you mix it together, the appearance will slightly change. You can still see the yellow particles of the sulfur and the dark grey particles of the iron filling. And if you go for the magnetic test, you will be able to collect the magnetic particles of iron over the magnet. You will be able to separate the iron filling from the mixture. What happens when we heat up this mixture? After heating up, the chemical reaction occurs in between the iron filling and the sulfur, and a new chemical compound is formed, new substance is formed. So, initially in the mixture there were only two elements. After heating up, the mixture is now changed into a compound which will show different appearance. The color of the substance will be changed. If you go for the magnetic test with the heated mixture which is now changed into compound, it will not be attracted towards the magnet. So, it will not show you the magnetic test. Also, if you go for the chemical test, like if you take the burning candle over the test tube which is holding the compound here, you will find different chemical reactions, you will find different result. For example, if water is taken in a test tube and you take the burning candle over the surface of test tube, the candle will not show any change. It will continue to burn as it is occurring, it is burning in the beginning of the experiment. But when you take the same candle over a test tube containing hydrogen gas, it will produce pop sound and there will be no more flame, it will extinguish. But if it is containing oxygen, it will burn with the more bigger flame, or if it is containing carbon dioxide, it will vanish, or we can say the flame will extinguish without making any pop sound. Next is mineral. What are minerals? Minerals are naturally occurring solid substances which are present in the earth crust, and they are found in definite and consistent chemical composition and specific atomic structure. So, each mineral shows a definite structure, shows definite proportion of its components, and these are often found mixed with the rocks in the earth crust. These are also classified as pure elemental minerals and compound minerals. Elemental means only one type of atoms of the mineral will be there. For example, silver, copper, platinum, gold. These are pure elements found in the earth crust in form of ores. So, if we say ore is not the pure form of any mineral. It is mixed with some other minerals or with some rock particles, sand particles. How we find out the pure mineral from that? We process the mixture of these minerals, means the ore, and we extract the desirable mineral from the ore. When a mixture is called the ore, a mixture of rocks and mineral is called the ore when a beneficial amount of the mineral is present in the mixture. What is that beneficial amount? Like if we are extracting any mineral, it should be present there in the enough amount which can give us required product there, required outcome from the ore. Like it should not be in the proportion so that we are applying more effort and getting only small mineral from the mixture. What are the compound minerals? Compound means two different types or more than two types of atoms are bound together to form one molecule. In any mineral, a compound is present there, then we say it is a compound mineral. For example, quartz, which has silicon and oxygen compound together in a molecule. Calcite, which has calcium, carbon and oxygen in the one molecule. In pyrite, which is also known as the fool's gold, because it gives the shine like a gold and also it appears like the gold. It is composed of iron and sulfur. The hematite is composed of iron and oxygen. Whether these are present in elemental form or in compound form, these minerals play a very important role in our life. These are used in constructions like the limestone. When it is heated, it dissociates into its constituent particles and it is mixed with other components to form cement. Like sand and gravel sometimes have very distinct appearance because of the presence of minerals in them. If you check the marble and the granite, they have different unique appearances because of the minerals present in them. In technology, silicon is used in different electrical components, different electrical devices, in solar cells also. Quartz is present there, which is used in watches as well. Lithium is also lightweight metal crucial for rechargeable batteries used in phone, laptops and electrical vehicles. In various medicines, in various pharmaceutical companies, these minerals are used to produce medicines or other substances like cosmetics and talcum powders. In industries, different ores are processed to extract the minerals, which can be metal or non-metallic minerals. For example, iron ore hematite is smelted to produce steel and which is used for construction materials, automotive industries and manufacturing industries. Copper is also essential mineral found in different ores in the earth crust, which is processed to extract the pure copper, which is also used there to make conducting wires and utensils and other components of the different appliances. So that's all in this chapter. We studied that materials can be present in elements form and in the compound forms, and these can be present in different mixtures. These mixtures can have metals, non-metals and metalloids mixed in different compositions. Also, we discussed that the mixture can be also available in two groups, like the homogeneous mixture or heterogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixtures have evenly distributed components, whether the heterogeneous mixtures have unevenly mixed components which can be identified easily in the mixture. We also understand that different materials in the surroundings can be found in form of minerals. These minerals can be elemental minerals and these can be compound minerals, and each mineral play an important role in our life. That's it for the day. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.